Hello everyone and welcome to another War Leader PvMP video. Today I'm going to be talking to you about raiding in Update 6 of the Rise of Isengard, talking mostly about what are some of the things to keep in mind, what are the differences that have come in since Update 5, and maybe discuss some general stuff as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, we start off here and we are attacking a free parade right by the banks of the river. Notice I am not the leader in this particular one. I am being a group member, so my job is to follow the orders of my commander, who is Plock here. And my objective right now, what I'm doing instead of following target list, is I'm being a tank. I'm trying to get up in their face, put fire on targets that will hopefully shoot back and stuff, or that I can actually do some damage to because they're supposed to be squishy. And for the most part, I'm trying to get them to shoot at me because I've got plenty of mitigations, plenty of health, and with enough healing firepower behind me, I'll survive. And they can pump a lot of damage at me, and I can take a lot of damage. Also, I am using my newer corruption build, which has a bit more mitigation already injected into it, and so I'm seeing how that works as far as like just standing up there and being a tank against player damage.
Dead. Jimmy cake.
Now you notice that when we started this whole thing out, we did go ahead and target some minstrels, and we've been targeting various minstrels, targeting Jimmy for a little bit there. Jimmy Cake is the enemy raid leader, and he's also an underleveled captain, but because he is the raid leader, and this is a reason that I often don't target a well-known leader or well-known players, is because he's well-known, he's the leader, probably he's also on target assist and stuff, then he gets a lot of heals pumped at him. And people pump heals into a specific target, you get a couple of minstrels doing that, they won't go down. And you just can't kill them, or at least can't kill them in a reasonable time frame. So that's why I personally don't do that. Now these guys are attempting to get across the river. The reason they want to get across the river is because we've been getting up in their face, particularly for the hunters and lore masters and such, and even the minstrels, which we had some success killing some of them, and they don't like that. So if they can get the river in between us, then it keeps us moving slower as we walk through the river and the water, which means they have more time to shoot at us, particularly for the hunters. And that makes it a lot harder for us to close the gap, get up on top of them, do our damage, prevent them from getting off inductions, all that stuff. It really sways the fight heavily in their favor. The other thing here is that across the river is Lug's res, and Lug's is blue right now, so they're also trying to pull us further towards their res circle. And that is why our leader does not want to cross the river. It's those two reasons. Now I'm taking a ton of fire here, and unfortunately I go down. I was definitely overextended there, so I got myself killed.
Range on Jimmy. Airballs. Alright, they're coming back. Alright, move, get out of the water, drop your traps again.
Okay, here we are, and we are about to map in to Good TA once again, doing an airstrike, or attempting to. Unfortunately, we do not land right on top of our targets. We do see Glitter over here, but Glitter is not actually a group of the main raid, and there's only one other person nearby, Renthilin, who's on target. So we go ahead, get on top of Glitter, and Guardians, they're not as indestructible as they once were, especially versus groups, in particular when they've got some wards that are doing the shadow stance thing. They can really mess up Guardians pretty bad. There was a trap sound, and here we go. Raid comes right at us out of the trees. They actually came at us from behind, so that was a decent attack for them, but they stopped short, and they all got off, and they wanted to have their hunters and their lore masters wanted to get off their horses and do their inductions instead of getting right up into our faces and trying to actually push in and take advantage of whatever they could. And so that means that we got to turn around and we're pushing into them, which means we get forward momentum.
Dagger's back up.
Come on, get on Harley.
And we're trying to kill Harley here for a couple reasons. Burglars do a lot of debuffs, in particular that armor debuff, and they're very squishy compared to most classes these days. Yeah, they've got a lot of escape skills and stuff, and they touch and go, knives out and stuff. But even with that, you can still kill them pretty quick with post-update 6, especially in comparison to some of the other classes, which is actually really good as far as balance goes, because they can do a lot of damage, they can do a lot of other stuff, but they do pay for it in survivability now, whereas it used to be back in like Moria and Mirkwood that they didn't really pay for it with survivability. They were some of the most survivable ever.
Back off. Back off. I want them on the ground.
Alright, shortly after we pull back, they finally come out of the river, they push at us once more, and so we push right back. And you know, this is just good raid tactics and organization, what's the word I'm looking for? I forget the word. But you know, when they push at you, instead of breaking and running, you just push right back and just hold the line. Discipline. Good raid discipline. That's what I meant to say. Instead of folding or anything, and they push at you, you just kind of whack them in the face and just say, yeah, okay, let's go. As you can see, they've already had their little charge falter. They're back in the water now. And so, yeah, they'd gotten nowhere out of that. Now, I want to say a little note about attacking minstrels. There are many times that I, as a leader, do not attack minstrels, but in all honesty, attacking minstrels is more based on the individual minstrel than it is on anything about the class. Some minstrels are built a lot more defensively than others are, and other ones are also better players than various other minstrels are. And as a friend of mine once said, all freeps are not created equal. And that's really what this comes down to, is if you pick the correct target to go after, then you can do all kinds of stuff to them, really mess them up. If you pick the wrong minstrel to go after, you're going to mess yourself up. Now there I got myself killed, but I did absorb a ton of damage there. Also, we did get multiple kills because of that.
Get on Trippin', come on, get him down.
And see, trying to hit Trippin'. So this is an example of just the various differences that occur. We put a lot of damage on him, but he's getting healed right back up again. Had he been a little bit further extended, we could have killed him, because he's not particularly defensively built. But as soon as he starts getting heals and all that, then he's difficult to take down, and it's more important to get off of him and get onto a target that you can kill than it is to stay on him and try futilely to drop him, which is what we've done. We've gotten off him and we're going after different targets. Now another thing is we've got some captains and some guardians that are up in our front lines right now, attacking and harassing healers and black arrows. There's Carl again, so let's got burglars. When freeps do this nowadays, they cannot get away with this with impunity like they used to be able to. They do this, and they get beyond range of their healing in some cases, but you can put a lot more damage on them than used to be able to, and if they don't run back, they will get killed, and that's just the way it goes. Even Guardians, here we go, Irinian, they 4,000 health used to be they could easily hit their survival skills and everything and run away and really weren't penalized at all for being this aggressive. Nowadays, it doesn't work that way. There's a lot more ability creepside to actually go through these emergency skills that increase avoidances and such, and continue to put damage on the target. And because of this rise in the ability to cut through avoidances and mitigations and stuff, it makes it a lot more fair and a lot more dangerous for freeps, where if they try to do things like that, they will end up paying for it.
Push them, they're breaking, push them.
Now also, as a raid member, notice that I have continually been calling out some of my skills whenever I use them. And that is to inform the leader and also other members of the same class and such, as well as everybody else, that these things are being used. What I call out typically are I call out when I hit my res, and I call out when I drop my banner. Call out when I drop the banner so that we can coordinate between the various war leaders and not double stack the banners, keep it up as long as possible. It also lets everyone know that they can push now because the freeps are doing less damage, they've got certain stats sapped, and they're not going to be getting very good power regeneration for a while. Also lets the leader know that. Call out the res for very similar reasons. Don't want to overlap with the other war leaders. And it also tells people don't hit release quite yet. The res is firing off. You are probably going to get hit with it. Or maybe not. But stay there. Res is coming right on you. I also sometimes call out my bubble, but that is purely for the sake of the guy getting bubbled and the other war leaders. And I don't always do that. But still, it is good practice to actually go ahead and call out various skills that you're using if it has a serious effect for the entire group or for several players. If it's going to affect the other guys that are of the same class, or if it affects the guy who's going to get hit with it to a large degree, call it out.
Stop all your snares, turn and run. That was big, sexy. That was a hell of a fight. That was awesome.
Yeah, but they're running into the water trying to get advantage. You know, fight it till you win. Anyway.
Did it work for?
Alright, now here we are. Now I am the leader. This is from the St. Patrick's Day raid. And this is I'm going to show you a little bit about how I do target focusing and the importance of that. Okay, I picked out a hunter here. I'm looking at marking him with a target mark. I decided against it partway through there.
My target hunter, very squishy, almost dead.
So instead, I called it out. I do have a target assist for myself up there. I keep myself at the bottom of the list because I have usually a ranged and a melee target assist.
Rosalind, another squishy.
Right now I just got two different range guys. Don't know exactly why I'm doing that, but that's how I tend to run it. And then I'll call out stuff if I get it so that people know and they can switch over.
Alright, Liz Veta, start killing.
Now we've already put a dent in their hunter numbers and LM numbers, so now it's time to go ahead and get on the minstrels, which is what I'm doing now. Liz Veta, I know, is one of the minstrels that does a lot of healing, so you go ahead and go for healing minstrels first, and skip over the war speech minstrels. The war speech ones are going to bubble and do other stuff that's going to slow things down a little bit.
Excellent job, everyone.
And as you can see, with how that works, with us going through the minstrels and then going through the hunters and LMs and minstrels, and then everything was dead, basically. It all wrapped up really fast.
Alright, Boots, let them have
Alright, here we are approaching Lugazag. There are about 2 free raids here that are besieging the place. There's this group here, there's another small group in the first hall, and then there's a full raid that's on the stairs.
Kalisa, squishy
now,
hunter,
in addition to
out.
my raid, which is out here and attacking, there is a second raid that is inside of the keep, up top, that is holding the other raid, the free raid inside there at bay. And they will come into play shortly when I signal for them to make their attack. Now, right there, there's only one minstrel, and all that was left besides that were captains. So, because we were coming in and the minstrel was extended towards us, got on him, killed him quick, and put him down like with no trouble really. Now I'm going after Squiskalok for a couple reasons. I want to get everyone moving in, keep momentum going, don't let them scatter and get distracted by shinies or anything.
Alright, push into legs properly.
Also, I'm making sure that I tell people where they need to go from time to time. And yeah, I'll continue onwards. Alright, here's that second group of Freeps that I mentioned that are a little bit further inside. There is some bleed over with the Freep raid as well, so it's hard to tell who's grouped and who's not. And there we go, I sent the tell to Ven telling his raid to come in. Now we go ahead and get on the Runekeeper. Now this is one thing that has changed from Update 5 to Update 6. Runekeepers have become a much bigger threat, and they're honestly back towards the top of target list. They're not as squishy as hunters are, but they do close to the same amounts of damage, but you can't disrupt the Runekeeper, and they're not quite squishy, so Runekeepers tend to be a bit further down in terms of I want to target these guys first. So it's hunters, and then it's a mix between Runekeepers and Lore Masters. And like with what I said about minstrels and how some of them are tougher than others and some die really fast, same things apply with the other two tactical classes, Runekeepers and Lore Masters. Some of them die very quickly, some of them don't, and you just have to go out there and figure out which ones do and don't, so that you can pick your targets accordingly. The really sad thing is just that the guys that don't die very easily tend to also be the guys that hit the hardest, and so they're the ones you really want dead, but you really can't take them down very easily.
You got tripping on.
Now we're lagged out. Well,
scratch that. Get
stairway
dagger.
fights
He's a
at
bigger
Lugs
threat.
and TR always lag out. Doesn't really matter too much how many guys you've got. 2 raids, it's gonna lag out. We've got 3 raids crammed in here. Maybe plus or minus a couple, and so this is just how it's going to go. But the numbers are telling, and everything's going down. It is
only
all
got one
mopped
left
up.
on track first.
Tripping's still going down, but that's about it.
I still got tripping on target, so
So
there's
that
still a
worked
few
pretty
left.
well. The whole coordinated push and everything.
One jumped out the window.
Alright, here we go. We are approaching from the rear towards the creeps who are on the other side of the bridge. The other raid is on the other side holding them. And here we go, there's a couple here, and they all jump off the
I'll
bridge.
go get him.
These three. Four.
They're jumping. Alright, push forward. Do not chase after
Underlevel
ones that
Lore
have
Master. Go ahead and finish that one off very quickly. And here's Raynal, healing Runekeeper. And because she's in the back and out of position, we go ahead and jump right on her, get the Blight down, and whack her, just like that. And now they've all turned around, they put fire right on me, which is very good for a quick switch targets. And down I go.
Tyoka,
Just because
Squishy
I'm
Hunter,
dead,
get it.
well, I'm just going to stay here and pick out targets. In the background, you can see other creeps on the far side, upper left corner, that are engaging. Venuzio is right there. You can see the symbol over his head. He is leading his guys into a charge. And even though they managed to drop me, they're all getting flattened.
Drumjet, Squishy Hunter,
Underleveled Hunter,
take it out.
underleveled Hunters can still put out quite a bit of damage, but they die faster than anything else out here, really. Once again, I'm still
Rosalind,
targeting
Squishy
all these
Hunter.
Hunters because Hunters, they're still doing what they were doing in
Harrison,
Update
Squishy
5.
Hunter, does a lot
You
of
get
damage, too.
critical mass of Hunters and leave them unharassed. Critical mass is typically 4 or 5, depends on what they're shooting at. And once they get set up and start firing, if you cannot break line of sight or do something, whatever they're shooting at will die. You just cannot keep up with
Get Liz
healing,
Vader.
no matter how many guys you've got, with the amount of damage they output. It just comes in too fast for you to actually pull it off.
Well, the rest of them are dead and the other raid's coming over, so it's not going to work out well for them.
But if you go ahead and harass the Hunters, if you kill them, different story entirely. Alright, now here we are, we're in back of Lugazag. There was a bit of a messed up attempt up there. We jumped out the back, and then fruits were going by, and we jumped down into them and realized it was 2 raids, not 1, so we were outnumbered. But just because we're outnumbered doesn't mean we're not going to push hard and see what we can do to them. Alright, went ahead, used my big heal there, picked out another target here, Keenan, and we're going to try to get him. And I'm just looking for targets right now. Once again, focus on these Hunters, because we want to actually get kills as much as we possibly can. Notice I am in Commander's stance. That's because I'm trying to put out whatever heals I can whenever I get crits. But we're taking a lot of casualties. I'm getting focused. I am about to go down very shortly here. Now, Drumden's right there. I should target Drumden, level 63 Hunter. Instead, I end up with Perfin on target. And this is what happens when you pick that wrong target. I tell people to get on Perfin, but they're unable to do anything to him. There's too much healing and firepower, or too many of our guys are going down, and they've finished this whole thing off pretty quick. They did have a numbers advantage and all that, which we've had in some of the fights, but still, we acquitted ourselves quite well, all things considered. Could have done better if we'd gotten on these Hunters here that are right in front of me instead of trying to get that LM, but oh well, it is what it is. So anyway, that's all the videos I have to show you. There's not a whole lot that's really changed between Update 5 and Update 6. The big thing is that Audacity has noticeably slowed down combat pace. Healing Creepside definitely has an easier time keeping pace with the amount of damage that comes in. It's still very difficult, particularly when you stack up a lot of Hunters. When you get a number of Runekeepers and Hunters stacked together and firing on the same target, it also is a nightmare. Because Runekeepers and Hunters together, they've got quite a few very big finishing shots and stuff. It just causes problems. The other things are that debuffs matter a whole lot more post-Update 6 than they did pre-Update 6, so Update 5. The main reason for that is because people actually survive longer. Debuffs tend to make a much bigger difference in the fight itself, with the exception of power drain debuffs, because power consumption Creepside, there's a lot of stuff going in there, but thanks to Audacity and the other power issue things that were going on, a well-run group of Freeps with a number of captains basically doesn't run into power issues. You cannot outlast them if they're all playing their classes correctly and support roles and all that. So there's really nothing you can do as far as power pools. You have to go and actually kill them, which really just means getting the correct targets and focus firing, just like always. Well, I think I've covered pretty much everything that I have to say. I do want to say Reavers are still a little bit weak in Update 6. They can be effective, but overall the main power in creep raids right now is a mix of healers, black arrows, and spiders. Spiders for those debuffs. Black arrows are doing a lot of your major hitting and killing. Wargs can do a lot of damage, but they still can't absorb any fire really, and so they really aren't able to fill the kind of melee DPS role. So you've got to rely more on ranged guys and guys with extra utility and debuffs to have a really strong group. Well, that's all for this time. Good luck and have fun out there. Ugmog is out.